So we started in January of 2018 working on this project, and you can see it was a lot of people from the division, but also people from Exat who help us with our database of student information and 2U. We had 10 questions we wanted to answer about the new hybrid pathway, but this is not a hybrid specific group, but we did have a lot of questions focused on the hybrid pathway. So we wanted to know, do the cohorts demographics differ? Do they differ with course performance? Do rare event rates differ? Rare events are things like being put on academic warning, being excused for academic problems, having to take a year of leave, that type of thing. We wanted to know if clinical education performance differed, graduate outcomes, whether or not how those looked between the two pathways, how the students were learning, the influence of the hybrid pathway on the residential pathway, which thanks to the pandemic has been accelerated quite a bit. We wanted to know if we could predict who's most likely to be successful in each pathway, understand the student experience, understand the faculty and clinical instructor experience, and to know whether we were meeting the objectives of the division reasons for starting the hybrid pathway, which were to expand our impact, to define the future of PT education, and also to redefine the residential pathway and advance that. We started early. We had two post abstracts presented in 2018, one setting up the protocol for comparing learning outcomes, which we can now start now that we have graduates, and also one talking about the shared governance that was used in the division to decide to start the hybrid pathway. We also put a lot of time into developing a survey that explores the student experience and how they differ between modalities, looking at self-efficacy, self-regulation that was modified to be appropriate for residential pathway students, and some open reflection. And we have had 7 additional presentations besides the first 2 that I showed you at Educational Leadership Conference, Anatomy and Physiology, some international evidence-based practice work, and that has predominantly been led by Mike Anderson and Chris Zabelski, Kate Havens, Clarissa Martinez, and myself, but you can see we've got lots of collaborators on quite a few different projects doing early work from basically our first year. We did not do a lot of data collection or analysis in 2020, and you can probably guess why. But we do have 2 papers that were published, one in 2020 by Kate Havens and colleagues about anatomy applications being used in the curriculum, and one by Dr. Martinez and myself about the flipped classroom delivered either online or on campus. And there's another paper that was submitted about self-efficacy for learning psychomotor skills that was led by Mike Anderson and Chris Zabelski. So we have had progress, but we have a lot of work to do on the questions that I listed. I don't think we've answered any of them in full, either internally or through dissemination. So lots of great work to be done. These are the current members of the group. If you'd like to join, just let Jarell know and she can add you to the invites. We meet twice a month on Monday afternoons. And our next steps are to restart our annual survey of the student experience. That will happen every January, to conduct our first analyses of the complete 3-year program outcomes, and to support ongoing investigations by faculty teams who are interested in looking program-wide at their individual course or at thread-specific questions around education in the DPT program. And thank you very much for your time.